Let me check the chat. I'm just going to close this down. Check the chat, and I think we are on for our second of the day, our second live stream. Give me a nod on the chat if you're in. And today we are going to be exploring, and I just need to make sure that MC Edit is on. There we are. But MC Edit can't be oh, it can be if I do that. Yeah, okay, that's good. I just need to, there's something I'm going to show you today. So today we're going to be exploring classroom mode this afternoon. It's going to be a short stream because it's a little extra piece that is that's attached. And what it allows teachers to do is monitor, almost as a kind of an oversight, if you like an admin center, what's going on and manage the worlds inside Education Edition. A lot of people don't talk about it anymore. When it first came out, it was a big thing, and now it tends not to be spoken about. And I noticed on the website, education.minecraft.net/download, that it just sits as a little line. That's it. Classroom mode can be downloaded here. That's it. Rather than a kind of a graphic function. And I wonder about that because I don't use it that often, but I know that teachers that do say to me, oh, it's perfect. With a little bit of sort of technical fiddling around to get attached to it. So let me show you what that looks like. We're going to go into play. We're going to select a new world. And we're going to go in and we're going to say, we're going to call this classroom mode. And then we're going to do our usual, repeat after me, creative mode, because we're making things difficulty peaceful, because we don't want mobs. This doesn't matter, because no one's going to be joining me. Infinite, because I want to show you what's going on in the world in classroom mode. Show coordinates for good practice. Always day, so that we don't have to build in the dark. And perfect weather, because the rain makes a lot of noise. Play. Everything else can stay the same. Okay. We'll just have a quick look around the world and orientate ourselves. This is really important because you're going to see this village in classroom modes shortly. And we are in, and there's a river. That's going to be nice to look at as well. So I'm going to head over to the village. And then what I'm going to do is I've gone to education.minecraft.net. And in fact, let me show you what that looks like. So I'm just going to bring that up and go. We'll just close that, new story, close that, new tab, close my PayPal, just in case. What else have we got? So education, there we go, education.minecraft.net. And in today's news, mother of 2 dies in the street after drunken boyfriend throws mobile phone at her neck. Apparently he hit her in the neck and killed her. Bonkers. Okay, so what a tragedy. Right, okay. And so this is education.minecraft.net. This is the website that I would advise you all go and check out in terms of how it works, what is Minecraft, why Minecraft in the classroom, what's its impact, classroom resources like Get Trained, Find a Lesson, Find Worlds, Code with Minecraft. You can join the community, get yourself connect with others, get yourself an account. You can download the game, contact us, etc., or you can go into My Classroom and set up your own classroom. Follow them on Facebook or Twitter or whatnot. My advice would be to get into the download page. You can just do /download, but it actually defaults to get started download. And then in here, you can download Education Edition. Remember, if you're going to use Education Edition, you're going to need an Office 365 EDU account. So there we are. There's up here is a first confirm your device is ready to run Minecraft, and you can go check out that you're able to do that. If you already have it installed, get these instructions to get it up to date. We're currently on 1.12.6. That will change obviously as things go on. And then you can download for your desktop from the Windows Store or for Mac or iPad. That's the platforms it works on. But we're going to, this line down here, this one here says classroom mode is available for Windows and Mac. Learn more here. And I just click on Windows and it takes me to a download page. See down at the bottom here, in fact, it doesn't even take me to a download page. It just says, what would you like to do with classroom mode, run or save? If you're in a school environment, you're going to have to do this through however your schools would normally do stuff like this. But for the moment, we're just going to head back to Minecraft and we're going to have a little look at what that looks like. So now that it's installed, it installs as a separate program. Okay. And so it's sitting on my PC. In fact, if I go into my, I'm not sure if you'll see that. I'm just going to check if you saw that. Yeah, I think you saw that. Yeah, you can. You'll see that I've got Minecraft Education Edition, and in here I've got Code Connection, and I've also got, in fact, they should be, not that I need Code Connection separately. I'm just going to move that up there. So I've got Minecraft Education Edition, Classroom Mode, and Code Connection. Bear in mind, Classroom Mode works in Bedrock as well, but you do need to have it on separately. And here's how it works. It works like this. So we're going to go, we're going to start it separately. So while it's on, we're just going to go in there and we're going to start it. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring up a login. And you need the same Office 365 login. It needs to know that you're the same person that's trying to connect and managing the world. It's a security feature. So I'm just going to log in. You guys have seen me do this before, but I'm just going to log in with the same Office 365 login that I'm logged into with the other ones. And then the password. And what it does is it's logging you in. And then you'll see here that it has a server list. Now, I'm not running a server at the moment, but what I do have is a waiting room. Could somebody just confirm? I keep closing OBS. Yeah, I could see that you could see that, so that's okay. We'll just bring that up and bring that up. You guys can see this, right? I'm going to click on waiting room, and what it will do is it will say, please enter the following command in Minecraft. And it asks me, so look at that. So my IP address is 35. So these IP addresses that I'm having, these issues that I'm having, and we're just going to copy that. I can either do that and copy, or I can just click the copy piece at the end here. Then when I'm finished, I can go into my game. This just sits at the background now, and I can press T for the chat function, and then I can paste. Here's my paste down the bottom here. So if I just highlight that for you, oh no, I can't, it doesn't highlight, but /connect, and then your IP address and your port. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press enter. And what that does is, it doesn't look as if it's done anything yet, but if I Windows out and I bring Classroom Mode back up, you'll see that it's now given me my world. It's opened up this window that sits on top. Whoops, let me do that again, Classroom Mode. And I can move it around, so I'm just going to pop it over here actually. And then what we'll see is it's just a separate window, and you can have it minimized, you can have it maximized. We're going to maximize it for the moment. And what you'll see is we have some conditions up here. We have our coordinates, which you can see moving with my mouse. We have our map, which shows, and we're going to go through these one at a time, which has me on it. We have our, what's that? What does that say? 5,000. Oh, that's how far. Yeah, I know. I'll talk to you about that. That's our sort of compass and scaling. We then have a player roster, and you can see that currently only Stephen Reed is in. We have a chat function, and then we have any messages. And so up here in this top left-hand corner, we can click, and we have an option. This pauses the game for all players. This is not something that's functional inside the game itself. Only Classroom Mode gives you this function. And so this is fantastic. So if your kids are moving around and we click on, I'm going to go back into Minecraft. Let's see if this works. I'm just going to window that. Your game has been paused. There is nothing I can do. You can quit if you want, but right now your game has been paused, because right now, whoever's running the game, whoever's running the server PC is currently giving instruction. They're currently saying, this is what I want you to do. I want you to build this for me. I want you to find that for me. I want you to craft that for me. Hi, Gurpreet. Gurpreet, sorry. Hi, Gurpreet. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so there's nothing I can do. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to unpause that, and you'll see that the game goes back. Pause, unpause, pause, unpause. This is fantastic if you are trying to manage a group of 30 children, or even a small group of 5 or 6 in a homeschool environment. Pause the game. Down below, we can also switch chat off. Disables chat for all players. So let me show you what chat does. If I click in here, now remember, I'm going to move this so that our chat can show, because our chat shows in the top left-hand corner of the Minecraft screen. But if I say hi, down here at the very bottom of classroom mode, remember this is a separate window, down at the very bottom, if this is all I'm monitoring, and I can say hi, this is your captain speaking. Press enter. And you'll see here it says teacher up in the top left of Minecraft itself. It says this is your captain speaking in the top left. You can give instructions to your students. However, in fact, let's do another instruction and let's go in so that the game's going to be paused anyway. But if we do that and say I would like you to get some redstone ready for machine making. Slot 1. That's your inventory slot 1. When we press enter, go into the game, teacher, I would like you to get some redstone ready for machine making slot 1. Now you could say that verbally, but you can also, this could be quite nice if everybody's just working away and they're all doing their own little communications and you don't want to stop them and say, hey guys, what I'd like you to do now is, and they all turn their attention to, you might just want to just drop in some little hints. You might want to just drop in some little instructions by text. So that's nice too. So, oh, there I go. I'm always bringing up Code Builder. Let's just close Code Builder. We'll move away from the agent. And we will bring up there. We can always do Alt and Tab as well, which brings that up. I've got so much open though, including some Call of Duty. And so what we can do, however, is we can switch it off. Game rule global mute has been updated to true. Now let's see if this works for me. If I go back into the game and press T and put test, that still works. But is that because I am /WB? That's because I'm the teacher. No, it's not. Oh, I know what it is. It's because of the permissions. So your students will be in under different permissions. I, as the teacher and as the host of the game, am always allowed to speak, but your students will not be able to when they press that button. It's hard to demo with when I'm the only person in the game. But if you switch that on, it means they will be muted and cannot chat. Why would you use that necessarily? I'm actually not sure. But I have worked with clients that have said I don't want them chatting because they're gonna type the word bum or worse, and so or there's going to be some online bullying or whatever. What I'm noticing though is that chat's not appearing in there. Let's just do test again, and that's not working. Let me just try it in the game. And I'm just going to do X. Let's try that and then go back to, I think it's because I'm the teacher. Yeah, that's what it is. It's because I'm the host, and what's happening is the chat's not coming up there. But if the students were chatting, if we had someone else in our world, and I'm not able to do that because of the issues we're having, but if I had someone else in our world, hi Catherine, their chat would be coming up here and you'd be able to scroll it. So you can always see what your students have said. So if someone says, he typed something, and you say, no, I didn't, you can go back and have a look, and that's in the little chat box down there. Another reason you might use this, rather than controlling the environment, is sometimes languages. It's really nice. We've used this before where we said to the kids, I want you to communicate in game, but only in French. You need to learn iron and dirt and trees and plants and carrots and farming techniques, but all in French. And when you ask somebody, do you have some glass? I want to see it in French. And then what you end up with is here, you can see how they're talking in French. If they use English, you can see who used English and so on. And you can go and say, well, wait a minute. And I'm assuming that's because I'm talking from an English speaking perspective, learning French, but it might be that you're in Germany learning French and you see them using German. You're like, wait. I asked you to use French. What we can do here is we can do perfect weather, on or off. You've already seen me do that in the settings, and that just means, do I want it to rain randomly or do I want that off? I'm going to say perfect weather on. This one is, again, mobs. So we've talked about this before. Do we want mobs on or off? And if we switch off, we lose all animals and baddies, bad creatures. If we switch it on, we have mobs, and we're allowed chickens and things. Allow destructive items. Again, this can be found in the settings, but you can switch it off or on. I don't want destructive things. So let me just go in and see what that looks like. Let me see if I can do this. Now, you're allowed TNT and a flint and steel. But what should happen now is, because I've switched it off, I can't place it. I'm not allowed to place TNT. I'm also not allowed to set fire to trees with my flint and steel. Whereas if I go back into my classroom mode and switch that to on, and then go back to the game, I can place TNT, I can explode TNT, and I can also set fire to trees. And so we can, just at the touch of a button, and here's the thing, this is actually quite interesting, because what you end up with is, a lot of people say to me, oh, we'll just switch it off or we switch it on. But actually, what if you were doing something where you were doing the California Gold Rush? And I'm just going to give you an example of what that might look like. Let's just imagine we're going to do a cave in here. And we happen to know, we're doing the California Gold Rush, and we happen to know that there is gold in them there hills. And that gold is and it's buried in there somewhere. And that's the one that gives you the hint that it's there. Everything else is there. And you happen to know that there's gold in there. And so, because we have a California Gold Rush map. And so what we can do is, we can go and get ourselves some redstone. And we can get ourselves a lever. And we've already got an andesite, it doesn't really matter. And what I'm going to do is, I am going to put some TNT right there, because we know there's gold there. And we're like, we found some. And then what we're going to do is, we are going to lead a trail to our plunge box. You know those little, remember back, you've seen them in the movies where they had the plungers, and then they would do the plunge thing, and then we would put the handle on the top of the plunge thing, and then we would be like, fire in the hole, and then we pull and then you see that the redstone has engaged. Boom. And then we can go in and say, hey, we found the gold, there's a bit. And then if we mine this away, there's another bit, and we mine this away, we haven't found very much. There had to be more than that. Oh yeah, there's more up there. And suddenly we found the gold. So that's just a nice way of, when we just get rid of the plungers, for example. And we have the kids buy that stuff. So the kids buy it. It's really important that they buy that. So that's just one example of when you might do that. Now, here's the thing. For classroom mode, you might be talking to your children about that and saying, we're only going to do that at the very end, because during this lesson, we're going to keep destructive items off. Because if you're encouraging children to go and do the California Gold Rush, the first thing they're going to do is, oh, sir, the TNT went off by mistake. Of course it did. But if we have it switched off, they can't do anything. They have to build the environment, they do the lessons, they follow the journals, they listen, they read the NPCs, they do everything I've asked them to do. And once they've found their gold, or we're at the stage where I want them to mine, with this just sitting in the background, I can go, okay, destructive items are on, off you go, and they can go do their thing. Down here is player damage, and that is just, do players get damaged by dynamite or falling or drowning in water, etc., on or off? Again, while they're building things, you might not want them to, but so take for example Viking raids. We have this whole lesson on Viking raids. What if you wanted your kids to build like Vikings, and you didn't want them dying because they fell off a fence when they were building their longhouse, for example? And so we can switch that off, which means for the first 20 minutes of the lesson or 30 minutes of the lesson, they're fine. But at the end, we're going to have two Viking cultures clash. We're going to have two what do you call them? Viking clans, Viking tribe. What would they be called? I can't remember what the Vikings houses. Anyway, the two Viking groups, they will collide, and it's at that point we have on. They do a raid on each other, and they do. It's at that point you say, okay, 3, 2, 1, go, and suddenly the game is afoot, and they haven't died by accident. They've just gone in and kind of fought as Vikings, and the time is up. This one is prohibits world modification. This is basically that immutable world. Do we want to be able to modify the world? And I'm going to say no. I want to say it's on, therefore it's prohibited. And what that means is I can't touch anything. I can no longer knock houses down. I can no longer, there's nothing I can do. But what I can do is I can switch that back off, and I can knock a hole in this guy's house. Sorry, fella. He's not around anyway. He'll be really upset when he gets home. And so that's immutable world, basically. And then finally on this one, player versus player damage. So there's no point in this being on when this isn't. So what we'll do here is if we switch it off, students can't attack each other. It's another griefing. It's what we call griefing with the kids, where they say, every time I go into that mine, he throws me in the lava, or every time this happens, he does that. If you've got this off and you've got this off, kids can't do anything to each other. They just have to get on. They float through each other. It's, the world goes by without any incident. So these make it a lot easier for you to manage. Viking societies, Callum Hall says. Thanks very much, Callum Hall. Viking societies, not clans, because we had Scottish clans, right? Viking societies that went against each other. I'm not entirely sure that's like if you were standing on the parapet of your little Viking wall and you saw them coming over the hill and you was like, you blew your little horn. Viking society coming. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, maybe. And so let's just switch that off. So that's all of those settings. The other thing that we have here is the map. So if I just, that doesn't look like very much. It just, if you notice, as I move around and then go in there, nothing happens because the map is now sort of zoomed in. But if I zoom out with my mouse wheel and just zoom out, if you don't have a mouse wheel, that's an issue because that's how it works. But if I zoom out, you'll see the village, and here's little Stephen Reed standing right there, and we can move with our left mouse button. We can move and look around, and we can zoom out and we can see, so that's lava, and that is currently in it's over there at 868-63274. Now what's great about having the mouse move around like that is you can identify things, and your kids can go, sir, I can't find lava, and you go, okay, well if you head over towards 867-63273, you'll be able to find it. So then the kids are like, okay, so they go 867, so that would be, oh, that's not right, that's going the wrong way, so that would be 867 and then 273, which is, yeah, that way. So lava should be, have I done this right? Where's 867? 867. And then what was my other one? Let's go back and see what that was. 867-275. So I need to find 275 now, which is that way. 867. There it is. 275. So there's our, so we can guide our, hi Lynn Telfer, hi, welcome to the stream. We're doing classroom mode today. And so we're just showing the folks how to layer classroom mode on top, and we've just been using it to orientate to find lava. And so if we head back in, you can see that was the lava that we're now at. That's that there. This piece here is this piece here. And we can zoom in and we can zoom out. The reason you've got the black area round about is because we haven't discovered this yet. Let me show you what I mean by that. If we head in, it doesn't really matter, I'll head in any direction, but we'll head off and we'll float along and we'll see what we can get to. We're going to head for that big tree in the distance. It's technically trees on a mountain. Classroom mode is, like I say, it's one of those things that some people will never use and some people really will use. Callum Hall says, oh no, societies is a nickname. Sections of chiefs in elegant tuxedos in East Scandinavia. That is my history lesson over. Wow, Callum, I miss that about you. It's been a long time. By the way, I'm super, super proud of what you're doing. Going and getting yourself your qualifications as a paramedic and whatnot. I love it. I'm so, so proud of you and all the people like you. Are you active just now in this weird scenario? Talk to me. If we go to here, you'll see now that we've just gone in a big straight line and how the world is forming. You see that? And so we left the lava, which was there, and we went all the way north until eventually we stopped here. And so the world will unfold, the world map will unfold. This is how you know when a child has gone miles away. And I'm lost, I don't know where I am. And you just have a look at the map and you go, why are you way up there? And if you want to bring them back, check this out. I'm just going to maximize this for full effect. Stephen R in here, I'm going to pick him up by holding his name and I'm going to put him right back at the lava. Ready? Drop. See that? And when I go back into the game, I'm right back at the lava. I'm no longer away where I was. So let's do that again. Let's head over here. And just to be sure that this is working, I'm going to go inside this house and I'm going to stand inside this house. And when we go back, I'm going to just take Stephen Reed and I'm going to put him on top of this snowy mountain. And when we go back to the game, we're on top of a snowy mountain. So at any time you can tell your students, and what's really nice about that is you can go in here and you can say, pause the game. So the game is paused and then you can take all your students and you can just put them all where you want them. That works for a number of things. That works for, wow, it's 3:30 in the morning for Lynn Telfer. That is definitely Aussie stamina, huh? Thank you for joining me at this time. I hope you and your loved ones are all safe and well over there in Australia. What a crazy thing, isn't it? That I keep thinking about this. We've had thousands of people in our streams now over the last sort of 18 days from 5 different continents. And it's crazy to think that every single person that has been on my stream, including now Lynn Telfer, who's, it's 3:30 in the morning in Australia, is living to the same rules as I am. Are you staying indoors? Are you staying safe? Are you washing your hands? Are you minimizing your social? Everywhere in the world. It's bonkers. But anyway, the world, and there's nothing the kids can do because they've been moved. Now, what this is great for is 2 things. One, it's for pulling little Stephen Reed, who's gone wandering off and found a cave and shouldn't have, back into the lesson. I need you back in the lesson, Stephen. Come on, pay attention. Can you tell I'm channeling my primary school teachers at this point? Stephen, stop looking out the window. Stephen, pay attention, Stephen. But also, and most significantly, it's for putting children where you need them in something like. So let me just run a different world. We're just going to close that and we'll close that down. And we will, if I've closed that down, I now can't unquit my world. I now can't undo my world, but we're leaving that anyway. I know you miss your MC community, Callum, but you're a wonderful, wonderful human being, and the work that you're doing and the path that you've chosen to do is just fantastic. So kudos to you. You make sacrifices that some of us don't or aren't able to make. Now let me find. There's one world there it is. The 3D printer class set. So if we press play, this is basically a huge set of 3D printers that the kids can go into, and they can move around in that world, and they have to choose a printer. And there are a number of ways of doing that. So you'll see that I've designed all these big 3D printers that all sit in a particular place. And then what we can do is we can go in here, and what I've done is I've said to them, choose a printer. So here's the thing. You could say to little Stephen in the corner, Stephen, I want you to go to 3D printer 3. And they go, okay. And then little Stephen goes over and says, I'm going to go into 3D printer 3. And when he presses the button, he's in 3D printer 3 and he's ready. And his colleague is in 2 and his other colleague is in 4 and so on and so on. And we've designed this. This is a free world if you want to download it. Or from immersiveminds.com. Check out our portfolio and check out the 3D print world. Class set. You can get a single or a class set. But what if Stephen constantly goes into 5 when he was told to go into 3? And meanwhile, Martin constantly goes into 4. And you told the twins that they couldn't work together, but they did because they both went into 8. And so what you can do is you can run classroom mode. So we're just going to do that just now. We're going to sign in. We're going to go into the waiting room and we're going to copy this one now. And we're going to go back into our world, press T, jump in there and press enter. And then when we tab out to classroom mode, we now have a different map. See that there? It's going to form that map. I'm just going to maximize it. It's going to form that map. And there's my 3D printers. It's just forming slowly. It's going to give us that. There's all my 3D printers. Now, it's at this stage that I'm able to say, right, Stephen, I need you in 1. And I need this student in 2, this student in 3, this student in 4, this student in 5. It's a little bit of admin for you at the beginning, and that's it. And I need you in there, and I need you to start now. Off they go. And they are not allowed to do anything other than... The great thing about those 3D printers is that they're self-containing and they're not allowed to break them. They're only allowed to build on the build plate. That's the point. And meanwhile, you've switched off chat, you've made sure monsters are off, etc. You can see the world is set in such a way it's an immutable world, and so on. And so we are... What did I do? Yeah, switch chat back on. And then if I go... Where did I put my character? Let's just put my character in the back corner here. In fact, let's just put ourselves in the middle. So we put ourselves there. If I now come out and go back to Minecraft, I'm in printer number 28. And that's been decided for me. Now, of course, your children can leave and they can go look for something else, but that's a management issue. Just like your kids getting out of their class. Your kids gets up and walks out the classroom, you're going to deal with that, right? You're going to deal with it if they're constantly leaving their 3D printer. And so... that's a nice way of, I think, of demoing the purpose behind it. It's not just about controlling the environment. Sometimes it's about actively giving your students choice. Well, not choice, but sort of giving them a place in a choice and saying, look, I need you to be here. And then you place them there and you do that. And so that's that. We've done the messages, we've done the chat, we've done the player roster. What's this one? It's 5,000. I'm not even sure what that is. Anybody any idea what that is? If I do that, 5,000. I don't know why it says 5,000. I thought I did, but I don't. I thought it was the zoom, but it's not. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is classroom mode. It's a nice little extra that sits on top of Minecraft or behind Minecraft, and you run that world. And that's your hosted world. So you would start with your multiplayer, you would run a world, you would give everyone the join codes, and then they would join and you would see the player roster start to populate pop, 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 with all your kids. All of this is scrollable, so it's not just that's the only space you have, and it's all scrollable. And so, oh, Neri's back. Neri, I'm going to need you tomorrow, 12 o'clock BST, because we used your battery, and we're still struggling. It's removing them too fast, so the waves are not filling up the energy enough. So what we need some mechanism that fills up the battery, allows the light to go on, continues to fill up the battery while the waves are coming in. But if I ever stop the battery, i.e. cut off the rails, it then slowly depletes the battery whatever the battery is. I don't know quite what we're looking at that. And so, you're absolutely right, Callum. I'm going to talk about that in a second. You're right. That's the time. That's not a compass. That's a clock. And so, Neri, we tried everything. Like, I think we've done like 2 streams since, and we've made these incredible battery machines and things that passed, that TikTok and stuff that we went and found on YouTube. I've got some other stuff to look through that Barry has sent me, who's also one of our regular watchers. But Neri, I need you. I need you to help me, Neri. And so tomorrow morning, well, tomorrow afternoon, 12 o'clock BST, we're going back to it. We're doing it again. And so last thing is this here. It says 5,000 because that's the time that's been set in the sky. That's a clock there, thanks to Callum for pointing that out. If I go back to Minecraft, you'll see that that's set up there. If I go time set 12,000, whoops, I need to do a / time set 12,000, you'll see that the sun is now setting 12 BST. So depending on where in the world you are, Neri, 12 BST, 12 BST. If I now go back into classroom mode, you'll see that it says 12,000. So it's the time. So you can recognize the time. I actually prefer 6,000. Only if you can, Neri. I just need some help making this happen because we're struggling. As a community, we are struggling. Now, Gurpreet, you have to... Okay, why don't we make it 6 o'clock this time, 6 o'clock BST? How's that? Can you do it if we do it tomorrow at that time? We'll make it 6 o'clock. From where do I open classroom mode? Gurpreet is asking. So, Gurpreet, you open classroom mode by going to this website, education.minecraft.net /get-started / download. Basically, education.minecraft.net /download will take you there. Okay, and then here underneath the big graphic of the block there, you'll see a little line that says classroom mode is available for Windows and Mac. Learn more here. You click on the Windows, well, or Mac, depending on what you're running. I'm running Windows. You click on the Windows, that there, and you download it and you install it on your computer. So you'll see here, when I go into here, you'll see that it's actually installed. There's Minecraft. That's how I start Minecraft. That's how I start classroom mode, is that one there. So you do that, all right? So I'm just going to time, just otherwise I'll forget. Time set 6,000. That puts the sun directly above you. And then I'm going to bid adieu to this world. And then I am going to thank everyone for coming in to watch this classroom mode special stream dedicated to that little piece of software. Check out the YouTube anytime you like, youtube.com/c/immersive minds. You'll find everything we've done so far. And thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow at 12 o'clock BST and 6 o'clock BST. Bye, everyone.